How do you get clean water if the world has utterly ended? Imagine the stores are completely looted, every faucet in your home bone dry or worse. The rain outside glows with an eerie, dangerous light. Your throat burns, your head pounds, and an agonizing thirst becomes the only sensation that truly matters, dominating your every thought. This isn't just a grim hypothetical. It's the stark, brutal reality for anyone navigating the absolute collapse of civilization. Water, the undisputed essence of all life, quickly transforms into the most precious commodity, far surpassing any forgotten gold or ancient currency in value. You cannot endure for long without it, perhaps only 3 precious days if you are incredibly fortunate and meticulously conserve your dwindling energy. Every single drop holds immense significance, and each decision you make about finding it could easily determine the thin line between continued life and a slow, agonizing demise. And more importantly, your very survival, and that of anyone you protect, hinges entirely on acquiring this vital, life-saving knowledge right now. Before we plunge deeper into these absolutely essential life-saving techniques, I have a crucial question for you. From which remote corner of this unpredictable, broken world are you currently tuning in and watching this? Please take a moment to drop a comment below and let me know your location. Or perhaps share what immediate challenges you foresee in securing clean water, where you are right now. Your insights are invaluable as we forge this resilient community of survivors together, preparing diligently for whatever comes next. Now, let's confront the most immediate and pressing problem. How do you manage to create your own drinkable water when you literally have nothing but the clothes on your back? When every tap remains stubbornly silent, you desperately need practical methods that rely solely on raw nature and your own determined 2 hands. We are talking about survival in its purest, most unadulterated form, utilizing only the meager scraps you can possibly scavenge from a broken, forgotten civilization. This, my friends, is the very essence of true self-reliance in the face of utter desolation. One of the most profoundly effective and surprisingly primitive methods available to you is called solar condensation. The name itself might sound complex, like something directly extracted from an advanced science textbook, but the actual execution is remarkably simple and straightforward. This ingenious technique powerfully harnesses the sun's relentless, unwavering energy to transform any undrinkable moisture into pure, clean, and utterly life-sustaining liquid. You will be absolutely astonished by what can be achieved with just basic physics and an overwhelming, desperate need for water. And more importantly, this particular method demands no electricity, no intricate or specialized machinery, and absolutely no prior advanced technical knowledge from your side. It cleverly leverages the sun's natural heat, the very earth beneath your feet, and common discarded items you might stumble upon in an otherwise desolate post-apocalyptic landscape. Mastering this single fundamental technique can literally spell the difference between life and death for you and anyone you are trying to keep safe. It offers a consistently reliable source of precious hydration when all other hope for water has seemingly evaporated. For this truly essential survival method, you will need to gather a few critical items. The good news is that these specific items are often quite easy to scavenge, even when the entire world has completely fallen apart around you. You will need a sturdy shovel or some suitable digging tool, a small yet clean container like a cup or an empty bowl, various wet materials such as fresh green grass, clumps of damp moss, or even your own urine if you find yourself in truly desperate circumstances. Additionally, secure a large sheet of clear plastic wrap or a big plastic bag, and finally, a single small stone or a smooth pebble. Gather these before you commence with the operation. First, locate an open, intensely sunny spot, completely devoid of any shade where the sun's powerful rays can beat down unhindered for the vast majority of the day. This chosen location should ideally be relatively flat and even, which will make the arduous digging process considerably easier to manage. Absolutely avoid any areas that are notoriously prone to sudden flooding or extremely rocky terrain, as these conditions would significantly impede your progress and drastically reduce the effectiveness of your solar still. Begin to dig a broad, bowl-shaped hole deep into the ground. Aim for dimensions of approximately 3 feet in width and about 2 feet in depth, ensuring that the sides of this hole slope gently and consistently inward towards the center. While the precise measurements are not strictly rigid, strive for a size that will comfortably accommodate all your other necessary materials without crowding. This carefully constructed pit will serve as the primary collection chamber for your incredibly valuable future water supply. Carefully place your designated clean container directly into the absolute center of the newly dug hole. Ensure that it stands perfectly upright and remains completely stable, ready to meticulously collect the purified water that will eventually drip into it. It is critically important that it does not tip over at any point during the condensation process, as this would tragically waste all your painstaking efforts and leave you just as thirsty as before. Secure it firmly and thoughtfully in its central position. Now, completely surround the small central container with any wet materials you have successfully gathered. This could consist of freshly cut green grass, moist clumps of moss, and abundance of leafy vegetation, or indeed the contents of your own bladder if the situation is truly dire and no other moisture source is available. The more moisture-rich material you meticulously pack around the container, the greater the quantity of pure water your solar still will ultimately produce. Do not, under any circumstances, skimp on this absolutely crucial step. It is absolutely imperative that your wet materials never, ever come into direct contact with the collection container itself. You must maintain a small, clear, and consistent gap between the organic matter you have placed in your clean cup. This deliberate separation is vitally important to prevent any potential contaminants from directly entering your precious clean water supply, thereby guaranteeing that the water you collect remains truly purified and completely safe to drink. Adhere to this rule strictly for your health. With extreme care, cover the entire excavated hole with your large sheet of plastic wrap or the chosen plastic bag. Ensure that the plastic extends generously well beyond the entire circumference of the hole, creating a wide, protective overhang around the perimeter. This carefully positioned plastic forms the absolutely essential barrier that will effectively trap all rising moisture and ingeniously facilitate the critical condensation process, thereby making absolutely sure that no precious vapor escapes into the dry, unforgiving atmosphere. Now, meticulously seal the entire edges of the plastic wrap firmly to the ground. Use loose soil, heavy rocks, or any suitable heavy objects you can successfully find within your immediate surroundings. You must create an absolutely airtight seal all around the entire perimeter of the hole. This critical step prevents any valuable moisture from escaping the carefully constructed system and ensures that the maximum possible amount of water vapor condenses inside, rather than dissipating uselessly into the parched, desolate air. Achieving a perfect, unbroken seal is unequivocally crucial for ensuring the maximum possible efficiency of your solar still. Any small gaps or unsealed openings will inevitably allow the humid, water-laden air to escape, which will drastically reduce the total amount of clean water you are able to collect. Devote extra time and effort to meticulously ensure the plastic is completely and securely fastened to the ground, leaving no potential opportunities for valuable moisture to silently seep away unnoticed. Precision here directly translates to survival. Carefully place a single small stone or a smooth pebble directly in the very center of the stretched plastic wrap. Position it precisely above your collection container, ensuring perfect alignment. This strategic placement will create a subtle inverted cone shape in the plastic, forming a low point that hangs directly over your cup. This seemingly minor detail is absolutely key for effectively guiding all the condensing water droplets exactly where you want them to go. Now, you must wait. The sun, our most powerful and tireless ally, will now diligently undertake all the arduous work. As its intense rays beat down relentlessly on the plastic, it heats the wet materials you placed inside and warms the ground beneath. Moisture from these sources begins its transformation, evaporating and rising as a silent vapor, into the completely sealed chamber beneath the plastic. This invisible yet profound process forms the very core of your crucial water purification system. Patience, an often overlooked virtue, is absolutely paramount when you are waiting for a solar still to produce results. Depending heavily on the relentless intensity of the sun and the precise amount of moisture initially available within your materials, it can easily take several long hours or even a full, uninterrupted day to successfully collect a truly significant amount of water. While it's tempting, try to resist the urge to disturb your carefully constructed setup too frequently. Let it do its work. As the warm, humid, water-saturated air rises and comes into contact with the cooler inner surface of the plastic sheeting, it undergoes a transformation, condensing back into tiny liquid water droplets. These minuscule droplets meticulously cling to the underside of the plastic. Because of the small stone you thoughtfully place, the plastic sags just slightly, creating a natural, effective funnel. The droplets then slowly slide down the inclined plastic surface, faithfully following gravity's gentle, unwavering pull. These purified water droplets then drip directly and unerringly into your designated clean container, positioned below one precious, life-giving drop at a time. This entire process, while admittedly slow and deliberate, is also incredibly effective and profoundly reliable. Each solitary drop of water collected in this precise manner is essentially distilled, meaning it has left behind the vast majority of impurities, including harmful bacteria and even some radioactive particles, if they were initially present in the source material. It is quite simply nature's purest and most fundamental form of filtration. Is this method, particularly the idea of using urine, inherently gross or perhaps a bit off-putting? The initial thought might certainly make you feel uncomfortable, even a little squeamish, but the end product is undeniably pure H2O. All the contaminants, any unpleasant smells, and even the original color, they all remain trapped and left behind as the water evaporates and then meticulously condenses. This is fundamental, irrefutable science, actively at work, transforming unpalatable and seemingly unusable sources into perfectly drinkable, clean hydration. You have successfully produced clean, potable water. It might not possess the refreshing taste of commercially bottled spring water, and it definitely won't be delightfully ice-cold or carbonated, but it is unequivocally drinkable. More importantly, it is undeniably safe for consumption. Crucially, it represents a completely reliable source of survival in a world that now offers very few certainties. This simple, ancient technique can quite literally sustain you through the direst and most desperate of circumstances imaginable. Mastering this fundamental method empowers you with an absolutely essential, indispensable skill. You no longer need to passively depend on sheer luck or a desperate hope to stumble upon a clean stream which might not even exist in your devastated environment. Instead, you actively create your own solution, intelligently leveraging the natural environment and whatever sparse resources surround you. This critical ability is the fundamental difference between merely surviving day-to-day and truly, actively living and thriving in a completely broken world. Keep this invaluable knowledge close at hand always. This invaluable knowledge, along with so many other vital and practical survival tips, is precisely what we diligently explore and share here at Bunker with a View. Make certain that you are fully subscribed to the channel right now. Hit that subscribe button and immediately join our rapidly growing community of incredibly prepared and resourceful individuals. We are collectively building an unparalleled resource for navigating the absolute unknown, one absolutely essential skill and piece of information at a time. We are dedicated to providing you with all the necessary tools and insights to effectively tackle anything that comes your way, from ingeniously gathering clean water to constructing robust emergency shelters and expertly foraging for sustenance. Your ultimate survival is our primary mission, and every single piece of information meticulously shared here is expressly designed to equip you for the most challenging and unforeseen times. Become an integral part of something far bigger, something truly prepared. Welcome to the Bunker. No bottled water, no problem at all. Just pure, unadulterated science, discarded trash, and the indomitable, relentless human will to survive against all odds. This is your profoundly important first step towards achieving absolute self-sufficiency when the world has truly, irrevocably ended. Embrace the ingenuity, master the scientific principles, and ensure your survival, one precious drop at a time. What do you do when the water sources you find are not merely dirty, but truly dangerous? Imagine discovering a puddle or a murky stream, but a faint unsettling glow emanates from its surface, or perhaps the taste is undeniably metallic and harsh. The threat isn't just about mud or bacteria anymore, it's about invisible contaminants, insidious poisons, or even the terrifying possibility of radiation. This calls for more advanced, yet still entirely DIY purification methods to secure your survival. And more importantly, these techniques shield you from threats that cannot be seen or easily detected, which are often the most lethal. A simple solar still works wonders for basic impurities, but what if the water carries dissolved chemicals or, God forbid, residual radioactivity from a catastrophic event? You need to escalate your approach, applying clever science to make even the most hostile water sources yield to your will. This is about making truly undrinkable water not just safe, but a source of life itself. Let's explore Method 2, the do-it-yourself filter. This technique builds upon your resourcefulness, utilizing everyday items that might still be salvageable from the wreckage of the old world. While it won't distill water or remove radiation, it significantly improves the quality of heavily contaminated water, making it far safer than drinking it directly. This filter acts as a crucial pre-treatment, preparing water for further purification if needed, or making it palatable if basic contaminants are your only concern. For constructing this vital DIY filter, you will need a few common items. You will need an empty plastic bottle, preferably a 2-liter soda bottle, a handful of charcoal, ideally from burnt wood, not barbecue briquettes, some clean sand, a quantity of small gravel, and several pieces of cloth or fabric scraps. These layers will work together to trap particles and absorb impurities, cleaning your water progressively through physical and chemical means. Collect all these components before beginning your construction. Cut the bottom off your plastic bottle. Use a sharp knife or any available cutting tool to create a clean opening at the wider base of the bottle. This newly created opening will serve as the entry point for your dirty water. Ensure the cut is as straight as possible, which will help keep your layers level and prevent spillage during filtration, maximizing the efficiency of your improvised device. Invert the bottle. Place it upside down, with the bottleneck pointing downwards, resting it on a stable surface or holding it securely over your collection container. The narrow neck, still retaining its cap or a small opening, will now become the exit point for the filtered water. This orientation is crucial for the layers to function correctly, with gravity assisting the filtration process. Place a piece of cloth inside the bottle, pushing it down to cover the narrow opening of the bottleneck. This first layer of cloth acts as a coarse pre-filter, preventing larger debris from clogging the exit and stopping subsequent layers from falling out. It forms the foundation upon which your other filtering materials will rest, ensuring structural integrity for your entire system. Add a layer of gravel. Pour approximately 3 to 4 inches of small, clean gravel directly on top of the cloth. This layer further removes larger suspended particles and supports the subsequent, finer layers. Ensure the gravel is packed relatively evenly across the entire surface. This provides crucial initial filtration and helps with water flow, acting as a crucial first barrier. Next, add a layer of sand. Carefully pour about 3 to 4 inches of sand on top of the gravel, and several pieces of cloth or fabric scraps. These layers will work together to trap particles and absorb impurities, cleaning your water progressively through physical and chemical means. Collect all these components before beginning your construction. Cut the bottom off your plastic bottle. Use a sharp knife or any available cutting tool to create a clean opening at the wider base of the bottle. This newly created opening will serve as the entry point for your dirty water. Ensure the cut is as straight as possible, which will help keep your layers level and prevent spillage during filtration, maximizing the efficiency of your improvised device. Invert the bottle. Place it upside down with the bottleneck pointing downwards, resting it on a stable surface or holding it securely over your collection container. The narrow neck, still retaining its cap or a small opening, will now become the exit point for the filtered water. This orientation is crucial for the layers to function correctly, with gravity assisting the filtration process. Place a piece of cloth inside the bottle, pushing it down to cover the narrow opening of the bottleneck. This first layer of cloth acts as a coarse pre-filter, preventing larger debris from clogging the exit and stopping subsequent layers from falling out. It forms the foundation upon which your other filtering materials will rest, ensuring structural integrity for your entire system. Add a layer of gravel. Pour approximately 3 to 4 inches of small, clean gravel directly on top of the cloth. This layer further removes larger suspended particles and supports the subsequent, finer layers. Ensure the gravel is packed relatively evenly across the entire surface. This provides crucial initial filtration and helps with water flow, acting as a crucial first barrier. Next, add a layer of sand. Carefully pour about 3 to 4 inches of sand on top of the gravel, but it does not reliably kill bacteria or viruses, nor does it remove dissolved heavy metals or radiation. For biological threats, further boiling is always recommended after filtration. This filter is a powerful first step, not the final one. Now let's tackle the truly frightening scenario. What if the water is not just dirty or contaminated, but radioactive? Boiling alone won't remove radiation particles, as they don't evaporate with the water. You need a method that separates the pure water molecules from the radioactive contaminants. This requires distillation, a process that mimics nature's own purification cycle, but on a smaller, controlled scale. For radioactive water purification, you will need a heat source such as a fire or a stove, a pot or container for boiling the contaminated water, a smaller, clean collection container, and a lid or cover that can be angled, or a tube-lash hose to guide steam. These items will allow you to create a simple distillation apparatus, turning danger into life-sustaining hydration through scientific principles. Gather your tools carefully. Heat the contaminated water. Pour the radioactive water into your larger pot and place it over your heat source. Bring the water to a vigorous boil. The objective here is to generate a significant amount of steam. Ensure the heat is consistent and strong enough to maintain a rolling boil, as this will maximize the rate of evaporation and steam production. Collect the steam in a clean container. Position your smaller, clean container so that it can capture the steam rising from the boiling water. This can be achieved in several ways, either by placing a lid angled over the boiling pot, allowing condensation to drip into the collection container, or by using a tube or hose to channel the steam from the boiling pot to a separate sealed collection vessel where it can condense. The steam must be directed to a clean, isolated space. Steam does not carry radiation particles. This is the fundamental scientific principle behind distillation for radioactive water. When water turns into steam, it leaves behind any dissolved solids, including radioactive isotopes, heavy metals, and most other contaminants. The steam is pure H2O. Therefore, only collect the condensed steam, not the boiling water itself, to ensure safety. As the steam cools, it condenses back into pure liquid water within your collection container. This distilled water is free of radiation particles, biological contaminants, and most chemical impurities. It's essentially what you'd get from nature's own rain cycle minus the initial atmospheric journey. This method is incredibly effective for making even the most dangerous water safe to drink. Gross perhaps, but ultimately life-saving. Test. If you are not visibly glowing, violently puking, or tragically dead after consuming your carefully purified water, then congratulations, you win. It might not be a 5-star meal, but in a post-apocalyptic world, surviving another day with clean hydration is the ultimate victory. Always start with a small amount if you have doubts, but proper distillation is highly reliable. No bottled water? The old world's conveniences are long gone, but your ingenuity and knowledge are your most powerful tools. With just science, a bit of trash, and an unyielding will to survive, you can overcome even the most formidable challenges to hydration. Your mind is the ultimate survival kit, packed with solutions for any disaster. Mastering these advanced techniques provides you with an unparalleled sense of self-sufficiency. You become the master of your own fate, not a victim of circumstance. This journey of learning and preparation is precisely what we foster here at Bunker, with a view empowering you with the skills to thrive against all odds. Your survival is not just a hope, it's a strategic plan. If you found these advanced methods helpful, and if you are committed to building your own arsenal of survival knowledge, then make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Join the ranks of the prepared, the resilient, and the informed. At Bunker with a View, we're not just watching the end of the world. We're preparing for the new beginning, one essential skill at a time. Your journey to self-reliance continues here. This is more than just learning how to filter water. It's about understanding the science that empowers you to adapt to innovate and to live when everything else suggests you cannot. The world may have ended, but your story of survival is just beginning. Stay prepared, stay thirsty for knowledge, and keep fighting for every drop of life.